Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a deleted user about 2 years ago in the trueoffmychest subreddit. The post is titled, "I ruined my sister's marriage and I can't live with myself. My younger sister and her husband were like the greatest love story I ever knew until I ruined their marriage, and I don't know how to live with the guilt. My family has cut all contact with me and I can't even blame them for it. The guy who I was interested in also left me and now I see him happy in a new relationship, but I can't help but blame myself. About a year ago, I was on a hen weekend for my best friend in the big city. That's where my brother-in-law has a small overnight rental for when he works in the city. We decided to meet to exchange Christmas gifts because they were spending Christmas with his family and my sister was probably 30 weeks pregnant. They live a few hours away. He ran late at work, so I was already bar hopping with the girls. When I texted him my location, that was the last thing I remember. I remember there were drugs and alcohol involved, and I woke up in my brother-in-law's bed in my underwear. He was livid because I had never taken drugs, and he thought I was stupid for experimenting alone in a city I didn't exactly know. He found me outside, passed out in a mini dress when it was below 0 degrees. I was covered in vomit as well, so he took me home. He didn't want me to sleep in my dirty clothes, and he tucked lots of pillows behind me so I wouldn't sleep on my back and maybe choke on my vomit. He lost one of his best friends growing up this way. He spent the night sitting in a chair next to the bed, scared that I would fall on my back and die. He was really livid the next day and called me all sorts of names. Immature, careless, stupid, ignorant. I could have been hurt, overdosed, or assaulted. I agreed with everything he said because I was reckless and I was so ashamed of it. He told me never to speak of this to anybody, especially my sister, who is the jealous type. I agreed against my better judgment, but he was so kind to me and probably saved me that night, so I agreed. Besides him and me, one of the girls I traveled with figured it out when I disappeared from the club without my jacket and bag. And then later, my brother-in-law asked her to drop by with fresh clothes and a coat. She must be the one who spread what happened. A few months later, my sister got the version that I spent the night with my brother-in-law and that I needed a change of clothes. Us not telling her everything immediately when it happened only made it worse. They are separated now and processing the divorce. My sister is broken and my baby niece is going to grow up in a broken home where her parents fight over custody. My mother and the rest of the family have all cut contact with me. I wish that my brother-in-law had never found me passed out behind that club that night. I should have died from an overdose, choking, or hypothermia. I'm just so very sorry. Update. I am sorry that I deleted my account yesterday. I just felt overwhelmed by the people who contacted me to say that it was fake. I really freaked out and was very hurt. I don't know why my lack of ability to write makes my conundrum less serious. I don't get the "this is not the whole story" either. I spent 4 hours trying to make the text as short as possible. I thought I did a great job. I don't want to convince you to believe me because it doesn't matter either way, but I have to say that I've never seen a post be so attacked. Why so heartless? I will answer a few of the questions people asked, and then I have a small update because I have been in contact with my brother-in-law several times today, and I ended up sending him the post. Where everyone lives, I live in the same town as the rest of the family, 5 hours away from the big city. My sister and her husband live 2 hours away from the big city in the opposite direction. This means we live 7 to 8 hours apart. Why I was alone that night, I wasn't. My friends were inside the club. I went out for some reason and passed out. The club is on a busy street and everyone was drunk at that time. Nobody was paying any attention. My brother-in-law found me because he recognized me. Why my brother-in-law didn't talk to his wife immediately, I don't know. I was passed out. He said he knew her well. She would be suspicious anyway and would probably try to drive in the snow, still thinking we were up to something. Why I didn't go to a hospital. Drugs are illegal here. My brother-in-law didn't want me to get into trouble, and I think he thought that I was just very drunk. I could lose my job if it got on my record that I had used substances. Was I roofied? No, unfortunately, I remember that I was very drunk and it sounded exciting to take a pill a guy one of my friends knew was passing around. It was all me and my stupidity. Why my brother-in-law didn't put a t-shirt on me or something, he had covered me up with the duvet while I was sleeping. When I woke up, he lent me his gym clothes. I have talked to my brother-in-law today. Someone here suggested a lie detector test. I really got very excited. Anyway, when I talked to him, he wasn't as excited. He told me that he would be brutally truthful with me now. He doesn't want to salvage his marriage. He said that these months have made him understand that my sister and him are wrong together. My sister was cheated on in her previous relationship, and according to him, she was punishing him for what the other dude did to her throughout their relationship. He never said anything because he loved her, and when it was good between them, it was great. That is the part we all got to see, the fairy tale kind of love. He was terrified when I spent the night in his place and wanted to do anything for her not to find out. What happened with me brought back his post-traumatic stress disorder from his best friend's passing, and when my sister found out, he hoped that she would at least be understanding because she knew about his best friend. Her lack of support when he needed her made him realize that he didn't love her anymore. I sent him the post all the same. He apologized for what my mom did. I called him again and asked him if I could at least do the polygraph to give my sister proof that I was innocent. He said that I should do what I saw fit. He said that all he wanted now is to fight for his daughter because my sister is trying to block him from getting custody. He also said that he has been dating a girl for a few weeks now, so that's it. He is moving on. I texted my sister that I was willing to do a polygraph to prove that I was truthful. She didn't answer me. My mother did, however. She told me to leave my sister alone or they would call the cops on me and get a restraining order. She also called me a junkie and she threatened to rat me out to my workplace. I don't know if the guilt will ever leave me. There is no coming back from this and everybody seems to be moving on. Maybe it's time for me to move on too. User Lady Clepsydra said, so this marriage was already doomed. I feel sorry for OP because she blames herself, and the family also blames her, while it's obvious the sister was overly jealous, and the actual problem, that dude not wanting to get the marriage back, says it all. User Burnt Toast said, this was really hard to read and I'm not sure what the author of the original post was hoping for when she posted. I think that she got a lot of really good advice that she doesn't deserve the blame or the guilt and that her perception of her sister's marriage and even their entire family dynamic is distorted, but she just responds with more self-flagellation. I really hope that she is able to get out of the fog, gets the help she needs, and can start to heal. User Miramosa said, sometimes things are just too big to contain, like you need to get your thoughts out somewhere and feel listened to. I agree with others that this girl has a serious self-esteem problem and was looking for more punishment to validate her insecurity. Poor girl. I can only hope she ends up finding people who love her more than that mom ever did. Now, there's the goddamn villain of the piece. This next story was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Worksister. The post is titled AITA for calling my coworker Worksister after she called me work husband in front of everyone. I work in a small office and we have about 30 people working here. Mary is one of my coworkers. We have been working together for 6 years now. We have 6 people in our department and we have to frequently travel across the state as our work involves overseeing government projects. We always travel in a group of 2. Although my travel partner changes based on the project. Mary and I are generally put on similar projects and enjoy each other's company. My wife also likes Mary. Overall, we have a very healthy work relationship. On to the incident. Yesterday, we had a happy hour in our office and we were all drinking after work hours and chatting. It was a group of around 10 people that stayed back. Mary was blabbering about how we both have been traveling together so much in the last year. She was roasting me for my habits while traveling, like always forgetting stuff in my hotel room, being sweaty and stinky when I join her for breakfast in the mornings. Everyone was laughing and she was making it sound how unbearable I was to tag along. I also told some funny and sweet stories about her and agreed with her, saying that I can be difficult to be with sometimes. Mary came to me and hugged me tightly and told me that she loves me and I am her work husband. It was all innocent on the surface, but she might have been a bit drunk and just didn't let go of her tight hug. Also, I hate that phrase as I do have a wife that I promise to be with forever and not just in non-working hours. After a few seconds, I started becoming uncomfortable and also saw a few people staring at us. So, to diffuse the situation, I took her hands off my shoulder and told her she was my work sister and that is why I love to annoy her so much. That seemed to have upset Mary and she left and went back to her desk and was sobbing silently. I tried to apologize to her, but she told me how embarrassing the whole situation was. She said that she just meant work husband in a platonic way, but me calling her work sister made her sound like a creep in front of the whole office. She was also angry that I aggressively removed her hands from my shoulders while hugging. I tried to reason with her that I do not like the work husband phrase, and also people gave dirty looks when she said it, so I was just trying to make sure people do not take her words in the wrong way. We talked for a few minutes afterwards and Mary calmed down. She hugged me again and left. I felt really guilty afterwards because I can see Mary's point. I made her sound like a creep by implying that she meant something inappropriate when she called me her work husband. However, I was a bit uncomfortable in that situation and just did not want people to call us that. Am I the asshole for calling Mary my work sister? I am sitting in my office writing this and a bit worried if I embarrassed Mary in front of everyone. User Hummus said, "Not the asshole, though you are being far too generous. The reason why she jumped straight to thinking you were calling her a creep is because she knows what she was doing was inappropriate. Work husband is considered widely inappropriate now. She knows this. You responded correctly. You owe your actual wife loyalty. Mary needs to back off and act more professionally." To this, user War Zesty Close said, "This 100%. She knew what she was doing, and instead of apologizing, she tried to make herself the victim by crying and making you feel bad and guilty about something she did. And the way she tried to spin you removing her from the hug really seals the deal. She is trying to guilt you. You politely corrected her and set a boundary in a concise way and tried not to make it a big deal. She made it a big deal. Maybe I am extra sensitive because my ex cheated on me with someone he joked husband/wife with, and they both guilted me when I said it made me uncomfortable. You are never the bad person for setting a boundary. Good for being loyal and honest." Update. I posted this about calling my coworker Mary my work sister after she tried to call me her work husband in front of the entire office. A lot of you are asking for an update, but that sub does not allow me to post updates, so I am writing it here. Thanks everyone for your comments and giving me confidence that I did not do anything wrong or inappropriate. As I was sitting in the office the next day, I knew things would be a bit awkward between Mary and me. Mary ignored me the whole morning. Initially, I was planning to go and apologize to her, but after the post, I decided that I do not need to do that as I should be the one who was offended. Everyone in the office could see that we were acting weird, and I heard some people gossiping about us. One of the ladies also came to me and asked me if I wanted to talk about Mary and me. Around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I was sitting in my office working. Mary came into my office and closed the door behind her. She was angry at me and started saying that I need to stop being an asshole and stop ignoring her. I told her to sit down and to talk about what is going on. She told me that she feels humiliated and everyone has been staring at her the whole morning because of what I did. I also stood my ground and told her that I was okay with her making fun of me, but calling me her work husband and hugging me in front of everyone for a long time made the situation awkward. She told me to get over myself and that I should know exactly what she meant. Mary said that I made a big deal of what was supposed to be a joke and made it awkward for everyone. She said calling someone a work husband is a normal thing and just means that she knows me intimately like a spouse would. She said that because we spend so much time traveling together, she knows all the intimate details of how I behave outside work. I stopped her and told her that I felt offended by the term work husband because I have a wife and I do not want people to use that term to describe our relationship. I told her that she would not understand as she is single, but as a married man, I really do not want anyone to describe me as a husband in any capacity. She said that I am again misinterpreting what she was saying. She felt that as we have known each other longer than I have been married, she knows me more intimately than even my wife, and I also behave like her husband when we travel together. She went on about how we go out to dinners together after work, how I always insist on having breakfast together in the morning, and I walk around in my underwear around her in the morning. She also talked about how we spend hours talking to each other during road trips and how I'm the only man she can trust with any secret in her life. She said that I'm the definition of work husband and I am just in denial. I was a bit angry at this point. I told her that I do all that because I consider her my friend, and she is delusional if she feels she knows me more intimately than my wife. I told her I do not want to hear that term again, and it is extremely disrespectful to my marriage. Only one woman gets to call me her husband, and that is my wife. Moreover, if my actions are giving her such ideas, maybe we need to stop being friends. She became apologetic afterwards and told me that she did not mean to disrespect my wife and it was not her intention. She apologized to me and told me to just let it go. She said that she loves traveling with me and she does not want anything to change between us. She again said that I am misinterpreting her statement and just wants to move on. She came to hug me again, but I just told her it was okay and stepped back. I also talked to my wife about the incident that night. As expected, my wife was angry at Mary and told me that she hates the term work husband. She asked me if Mary has ever flirted with me during our trips or has a crush on me. I truthfully told her that I really have not felt that way, and she may have just said that because because she was a bit drunk and is now being stubborn about it. My wife said that she feels a bit uncomfortable about Mary now and says that it's strike one for Mary and I need to try and put more distance between us while traveling. If she ever repeats the same behavior again, I should report her to Human Resources. I promised my wife that I would try to reduce my interactions with the Mary outside work hours and be more guarded around her. Update. Thanks everyone for the comments and explaining the urgency of the situation. I discussed it with my wife and have set up meetings with my manager and Human Resources today. I plan to not file a complaint but document what happened last week and why it made me uncomfortable. I do not have any upcoming travels this week due to the holidays but have to travel next Tuesday with her to a work site. I will discuss my options with my manager. However, I feel a little distance between Mary and me for some time would be the right solution for now. Update 2. After my last post, my wife and I were no longer comfortable with Mary's behavior. Although a part of me thought I was overreacting and that it was just part of Mary's personality, I felt the need to protect myself. I requested a meeting with my manager and Human Resources to document my side of the story. I wrote down everything and told them about the incident at the party, as well as Mary coming into my office and the comments she made. I made it clear that while I did not want them to take action against her, I wanted to emphasize that her behavior made me uncomfortable, especially her comments about knowing me better than my wife and her remarks about my shorts. My manager had already heard about the incident at the happy hour, as everyone in the office was talking about it. He told me he would try to shake up the travel schedule to minimize our travel together. The issue was that only 4 people in our company generally work on off-site audits, and the other 2 co-workers did not want to split up because they claimed they worked well together. As a result, I continued traveling with Mary for the next couple of weeks, but it was awkward and I kept my distance. My manager then called Mary and me to his office and informed us that he was planning to train a new auditor, Carolina, and set up a schedule where she would travel with me for 1 week and then with Mary the following week. We were asked to train her. I liked this arrangement because it meant I no longer had to travel with Mary. Carolina turned out to be a great travel buddy, and I made sure not to get too comfortable with her. I always dressed professionally when we went for breakfast, avoided late night drinks, and maintained healthy boundaries. Things were great until last week. Last Tuesday, I could feel everyone staring at me when I entered the office, and I was immediately called to a meeting with my manager and Human Resources. Human Resources asked if I had anything to report regarding Carolina and if she had made any advances toward me during our work trips. I told them no. Carolina had been very professional the entire time. I asked why I was being interrogated, and they told me they couldn't disclose any further details, but that Carolina was being investigated by Human Resources for inappropriate conduct. I left the meeting and Mary came to my office asking what had happened. She mentioned that she was also told Carolina would no longer be traveling with us and that we were asked to travel together again. I told her I had no idea what was going on. I messaged Carolina to see if she was okay and if she needed to talk. She asked if she could come to my office and I agreed. Carolina explained that someone anonymously sent messages to her boyfriend posing as someone from the office over the weekend. The message included screenshots of Carolina sending some inappropriate pictures she had taken in her hotel rooms during our travels along with flirtatious messages. This person claimed to her boyfriend that Carolina was trying to cheat with him at work and that he was just trying to warn them. Her boyfriend went crazy after seeing the pictures, ghosted her, and then sent the messages to Human Resources as revenge. Carolina was in tears, telling me that she had only taken those pictures for her boyfriend and had no idea how they got leaked or how those messages even existed. Her boyfriend was furious because he also received the exact pictures from Carolina and knew they weren't fake. I consoled Carolina, but she's in deep trouble as our workplace takes such things very seriously, and I'm sure everyone suspects I am the anonymous messenger. I was told that the matter would be investigated and that Mary and I would be working together on the project again. My manager said there was nothing he could do and also mentioned that they might go through my emails and messages on my company phone as part of the investigation into Carolina. Mary seems very happy about the whole situation and keeps talking about how excited she is to revisit the restaurants and bars we used to frequent during off-site trips. She also keeps referring to Carolina as that pervert. The whole thing is just crazy. My wife, of course, believes that I would never do anything inappropriate with Carolina and that I wasn't the anonymous messenger. However, her conspiracy theory is that Mary, who was also traveling with Carolina, may have unlocked her phone and accessed the photos. It feels far-fetched, but the fact is I'm not thrilled about traveling with Mary again. I don't think I have any other recourse to get off this project except leaving the job, which isn't possible at this time. I know many of you work in human resources, and I would appreciate any advice on what I can do next. Update 3. I wrote a post 6 months ago regarding calling my coworker, Mary, my work sister, and upsetting her in the process. Things got really weird afterward, and I was paired with another coworker, Carolina, for work trips. Someone anonymously tipped Carolina's boyfriend that she was engaged in sending explicit pictures to her coworker, and he, in turn, reported her to our human resources department as revenge before breaking off with her. No one explicitly said it, but I could see that everyone suspected me of being the other person. After that, Mary and I were again asked to travel together despite my reservations, mostly because others did not want to travel with me. I am sorry I did not write an update because nothing noteworthy happened until last Friday, and my wife Brooke and I have been arguing ever since about what to do next. I have been applying for similar positions in the last few months, but it is hard to find a comparable job in this market. Brooke has expressed her reservations about me traveling with Mary, but also understands that I would stop traveling with her if I could. We have bills and a mortgage, and I cannot just leave my job. Just like most commenters on my previous post, she believes that Mary framed Carolina. I have been extremely professional with Mary during our travels. Things are not as they were before when I would consider her a close friend. I'm always guarded around her and try to spend most of my time in my room after work. Carolina stuck around for about a month after I wrote the post when Human Resources was investigating the incident. I tried to support her initially and also told my manager that she had been very professional. However, rumors started spreading that I was going above and beyond to save her job, and she spent a lot of time in my office talking to me alone. We mutually decided that the optics were not good and started distancing ourselves. She resigned a month after the incident because she told me she could not take it anymore. From what I know, she is still looking for a job. Mary, on the other hand, seems to be happy on our work trips. Although I act extremely professionally around her, a part of me knows that she might be the person who framed Carolina. I also feel that Mary is the one spreading rumors about Carolina and me in the office. She always plans dinners after work and sometimes asks me to get a drink at the hotel bar as before. I generally avoid drinking on these trips now. There were a few times when she insisted that I get a beer, but I told her that I was already on thin ice at work and promised Brooke that I would not drink on these trips. This has not stopped her from getting hammered and me having to drop her off at her room at the end of the day a few times. Brooke has been very supportive throughout this whole time and has never once suspected or blamed me for anything. She has asked me not to drink on these trips and also to make sure I call her every night when I reach my room and when I go to sleep. I also voluntarily installed a location tracking app on my phone so that she has peace of mind knowing where I am during these trips. On to the incident from last Friday. We had a Christmas party at our office. Brooke joined me and the party was great. Mary asked me for a dance, but I declined and Mary did not look thrilled about it. Brooke was lovely and we danced together for most of the night. There was one point where I was talking to my manager and a few other colleagues while Brooke was talking to my manager's wife. Mary interrupted them and started bragging about how she has to take care of me during work trips since I am so clumsy. Brooke also joined in on how clumsy and forgetful I am at home. Mary then told Brooke that I make her feel safe on the trips and recounted the incident where she got drunk and how I took care of her by dropping her off at her room and sitting by her bedside until she fell asleep. Mary insisted that I am a gentleman and that nothing happened, but that I also show care for her. Brooke knew about the incidents when I dropped her off at her room. However, at no time did I enter Mary's room. Brooke did not say anything at that time, but when we got home, this turned into a huge argument. I told Brooke that I did not enter Mary's room and just led her to her room, immediately calling her afterward to tell her about the incident. I even showed her the text conversation where I messaged Brooke after leaving the restaurant and when I got to the room along with timestamps. After Brooke calmed down, she told me that she believes me, but it's crazy how fluently Mary lied to her in front of my manager's wife. She told me that Mary is just trying to plant a seed of doubt in her head and she cannot pretend anymore that she is okay with Mary. She told me that Mary ruined Carolina's career, and if she does not get her way, she might do the same to me. Brooke has asked me if I can draw a red line on traveling with Mary, and if my manager does not accept it, I should just resign. I feel Brooke is right, and nothing is more important to me than her. However, it feels so awful to be in this situation where all my hard work to reach this point in my career will be ruined. I do not know what to do next. I am really hoping to get advice and ideas on what I can do here. I just feel so trapped and am not sure what I can do at this point. This third post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account about 5 years ago. The post is titled, "My husband became a robot and I don't know how to help him." The title sounds insane, but here I go. We've been married for 6 years and have 2 kids. I'm pregnant with a third. My husband works from 9 to 5, comes home, does his chores, plays with our 2 kids, talks to me for a little bit, and then goes to sleep. But he doesn't seem to enjoy doing any of it. Like, this whole thing is one big chore. He used to be this goofy guy who smiled and told jokes all the time, but I haven't seen the man smile in months. It's not like he's neglecting his duties as a husband and father, but he acts like it's just that. Duties. Like hanging with the kids and me is a second job. I'm grateful for all he's doing and he makes all of our lives so much easier, but it's like he's constantly on the clock, and I think he might be depressed. I tried asking him if he was doing okay, and he tells me he's doing fantastic, but I know he's not. That's the line he uses at work when customers try to make small talk and ask how he's doing. He doesn't take any time for himself, he doesn't take any breaks, he stopped playing games and stopped watching TV. He just does what I feel he thinks needs to be done, and I don't know how to help him out. Our sex life has become one-sided. We do it frequently, but only because I initiate it frequently. Even if he doesn't seem in the mood, he'll do it, like it's his responsibility to make me happy. It feels like he isn't there in the moment, like his mind is wandering the whole time we're intimate, and that to me feels worse than getting rejected. I don't know what's going on, and I don't know how to help because he won't let me in. To anybody else, he seems fine, but I know something is wrong, and I don't know how to fix this. I miss my husband, the guy who complained and told jokes, not this robotic shell that looks like him. Edit, I didn't expect this to blow up. I want to thank you all for your advice. I really appreciate it. It's clear to me now that my husband is overworked and burnt out. He comes home from work in a couple of hours and I'm going to sit him down and talk to him. I'm going to tell him how I feel. And I hope that together we can find a solution that turns him back into the man he once was. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to respond to everyone, but I want you all to know I read every comment and response. I'll post an update soon about how it goes. A deleted user said, "Your husband sounds burnt out. He sounds completely exhausted with nothing but more exhaustion to look forward to. He's probably tired of the redundancy and depressed. He probably needs a long vacation from responsibilities and a new career." Edit, I forgot to mention that your husband is probably telling you that everything is fine because he doesn't want you to feel guilty or leave you with the responsibilities of everything on your own. Also, thank you for the awards, kind strangers. User Chilled Greaseburger said, "I think a lot of people have been experiencing adjustment disorders for the first time as a result of the current situation." OP also mentions a baby on the way. It could be adding to her husband's difficulty with positive expectations for the future. A new baby, as joyful as it can be, also brings huge stress, and it may seem to him that the world is not going to improve anytime soon. A lack of hope is the classic sign of depression. User Cromroy said, "Sometimes if you don't have new things happening and today feels eerily like yesterday, it can feel like a loop, which then brings about emptiness and a lack of purpose. It sounds like he needs a hobby or something new to strive for." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.